Welcome to Dherbs Investigates. Today's topic, is RFK Jr. qualified to lead Health and Human Services? What are RFK Jr.'s qualifications? Is he a doctor? No. Has he worked in any related health field? No. So what are his qualifications? Well, he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer that for decades has been promoting an anti-vax agenda.
The doctor who gives this vaccine to a child is committing medical malpractice. We should not be giving black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites. I do believe that autism does come from vaccines.
So where did this all start? Well, in 1998, a researcher in the UK published a paper that claimed that 12 individuals who received the MMR vaccine later developed autism. It doesn't matter that later on his research was debunked, that his medical license was revoked, and he later backtracked and rescinded all his claims. By then, the damage was already done. The anti-vax movement was born, and guys like RFK Jr. promoted it.
Mr. Kennedy, you have spent years pushing conflicting stories about vaccines. You say one thing, and then you say another.
I have never been anti-vax. I have never told the public avoid vaccination. I see somebody on a hiking trail carrying a little baby, and I say to them, better not get them vaccinated. And he heard that from me. If he hears it from 10 other people, maybe he won't do it. Maybe he will save that child.
The problem I have with him is really not his anti-vaccination agenda. Now, we're not saying here that vaccinations don't have issues, because most scientists will tell you, most researchers will tell you, most health professionals will tell you, there's nothing that's 100%. Nothing at all. So being a healthy skeptic is good. You should be a healthy skeptic.
I have to come from the perspective of a parent who has a vaccine-injured child. We have more than tripled the numbers of doses of vaccines we're giving our children in the last quarter century. At the same time, we have seen children become disabled and chronically ill.
Explain to us why you feel so passionately.
Okay, the first sentence I have to say is I'm not out to ban vaccines. I believe in the concept of eradicating infectious diseases. Sure. Right now, the one size fits all for everybody, not working. A vaccination is a medical procedure that should have questions prior to getting a vaccination, such as, is your child currently ill? Is your child currently taking antibiotics? Does your family have a history of autoimmune disease? Is your child allergic to eggs, MMR, cultured in an egg medium? None of these questions are ever asked.
Before vaccines were actually implemented, 1 out of every 5 children under the age of 5 died.
I got a bit of bad news for you, America. The measles is back, reaching a 33-year record high. At least 1,288 cases of the measles have been confirmed across 39 states this year. The bulk of the cases stem from a massive outbreak in West Texas, from which 2 children have died.
The strange part is that before unvaccinated children started to die, he was saying that, oh, you can just take vitamins and you can ride it through. But as kids started to die, he said, you know what? Maybe the MMR vaccine is something that you should do to your children. So that's the issue I have with him. He's a flip-flopper.
Not anti-vaccine. What I say is that...
Well, people think you are.
Well, I know, but that's because I'm called that because it's a way of silencing me. But I have said for 17 years, I'm not anti-vaccine. There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective.
Dherbs.com's Full Body Cleanse works to naturally cleanse and detoxify the body. The Full Body Cleanse consists of the blood and lymphatic, which assists your circulatory and lymphatic system in the natural filtration of your blood and lymphatic fluid. Cardiovascular helps support normal cardiovascular function to support maintaining healthy circulation. Liver, spleen, and gallbladder helps to support and stimulate the body's natural function to help cleanse your body. Lungs and respiratory helps nourish, cleanse, and support the respiratory system as part of overall optimal health. Kidney, bladder, and adrenals helps your urinary system expel waste while retaining vital nutrients. Colon and digestive tract cleanses the colon while retaining vital nutrients, including aiding in relief of occasional gas and bloating. And activated charcoal, which helps certain substances from being absorbed in the body's gastrointestinal tract. When you cleanse your body, you open up the door to healing and rejuvenation. Dherbs.com. I can say the moon is made of cheese, and I can get a bunch of followers following me. I can say the earth is flat, and apparently a lot of people believe that. Does that make it true though? No. We know from science and data that the earth is not flat, that the earth is round, just like every other celestial body in the sky. But there are some people that believe it is flat. Now, in this country, you have a right to believe whatever you want to believe. You can believe the earth is flat. You can believe the moon is made of cheese. You can believe that the sky is purple. Does it make it true? No. But you can have those beliefs. Now, the problem arises when somebody with those beliefs, they get into a position of power and they start pushing that agenda on the rest of the population. Now, some of you out there might be anti-vax, and that's perfectly fine, right? But did you actually do the research and look at the data?
By voting to confirm Mr. Kennedy, we would be telling our constituents he's worth listening to. That alone could get people killed.
For more than 2 decades, we've got a vaccine to prevent all of this. But there's renewed anti-vaccine sentiment in this country, and it's being perpetuated by our most powerful and influential leaders. The Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has claimed the measles vaccine weakens over time. It's a fact that scientists refute. He's downplayed the outbreak, saying more focus should be placed on chronic diseases. In May, he directed the CDC to find a new, quote, scientific process for treating the disease with drugs and vitamins. And last month, he fired the CDC's Independent Vaccine Advisory Committee and replaced them with hand-selected members, some of whom have expressed skepticism about vaccines.
He might have all the good intentions in the world, but good intentions have to be backed up by good science. And when it's backed up by pseudoscience and stuff that really just doesn't make sense, that's when you have to question, is he the person that should be leading this agency?
In your testimony today, in order to prove you're not anti-vax, you note that all your kids are vaccinated. But in a podcast in 2020, you said, and I quote, you would do anything, pay anything to go back in time and not vaccinate your kids. Mr. Kennedy, all of these things cannot be true.
Did you read the reports, and did you yourself fact check them, sir?
I did not fact check.
You did not fact check. So why then, as has
All of
been
the
widely reported,
foundational
excuse me, sir, I'm
assertions
speaking. Why then did the report include a citation to sources that don't even exist? How does that happen under your leadership?
Do you want him operating on you? Do you want RFK to come over there and operate on you? You'll say no, he has no medical training, no medical background, but yet we want him to make decisions on our health. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I want somebody in that position that knows what they're talking about. And they're not so closed to be vaccines cause autism. Even if he was open to say, I believe vaccines cause autism, but I will let the science and the research dictate my policy. At least then I'm like, well, he might be initially skeptical, but if he sees that science says otherwise, then he'd change his tune. I think that's what most people want out of anybody, our politicians, our health providers, is not to be so dogmated in your ideology and say that I know for a fact this is what happens.
The fact of the matter is that Bobby F. Kennedy Jr., the HHS Secretary, is the most unqualified misfit Secretary of Health and Human Services ever in the United States history.
Now, if you're an anti-vaccination person, I have friends that are anti-vax. There shouldn't be any competition or who's right or who's wrong. And I think that in today's society, we're more polarized between this and that and this and this. It's like we have to have a consensus, and as people, we need to come together and discuss these things as adults. Vaccination might not be the best thing for some children. It might be the best thing for other children. We just don't know. But to say that he definitely knows, without being a doctor, without being a researcher, without knowing anything, that this causes autism. But again, my problem is the flip-flop, right? Do I want a guy that started as a Democrat, trying to run for president, couldn't get the nomination, decided, I'm going to switch to independent. Couldn't get the nomination there, then decided to run as a Republican. Couldn't win there, but at least when he brokered a deal that said, hey, I'll bring people into the fold that believe in what I say, you just have to give me something in the government, and they give them health and human services. Wow. Very unqualified. This has been Dherbs Investigates.